What's up, family? This is your boy Sugar Belize, aka El Negro de Santana, and this is episode 14. So, on this episode, I'm basically gonna review everything that we've talked about, kind of refresh your memory and let you guys understand where I'm coming from. And, like I told you guys before, I'm not trying to make you believe anything. I'm just gonna provide some facts that I've come across, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you people wouldn't even imagine this, because it's never taught to us. It's a lot of forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge. Okay, so basically, why I'm doing this is to open you guys' minds. I want you guys to understand at least 1% of your history, because everything has been erased, hidden under the Vatican or various places, but this is mainly for the people in the hood, that they have no idea what's going on the outside. And I started all of this with the mud flood and Tartaria. That was the first couple chapters. Tartaria, well, pretty much by now, if you guys been following my page, you guys should know that Tartaria was the biggest empire. They controlled 80% of the world. It was Tartarians, so it was a multicultural empire. So they were mainly based in where Genghis Khan comes from, and Tibet. It spread out through California, through North America, South America, anywhere that pretty much they got brick buildings or the megalithics. Okay, Tartaria was erased by the Europeans, the Illuminati, the ones that control the world, because the winners do write history. They're in charge of history, so everything has been mixed up. Right now, we're supposed to be at a level where language should only be one, which is our emotions, our body language. That's the only language. That's a universal language, pretty much. Because the spoken language is pretty much a distraction. It fucks up. It messes up the frequencies that are being said. So with words, you could cast curses, or you could lift somebody's spirit. For example, water. Water has memory. And there was the Asian doctor, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to get it wrong, but he found out that water has memory. What he did was he got the same tablets of water and froze them up. To one water, he spoke nice to it, gave him love words, and you see the crystals form beautifully on the crystals of the water. And the other ones, he spoke bad, put negative music, and you could see how ugly the water has turned into. So with that being said, your body is made out of 80% water. So imagine when they speak nice words to you, how your vibration elevates, how everything gets elevated in your body, how your body functions. Or when they curse you, when they tell you bad words, you see how your vibration goes down, you get depressed, and you're just not at your higher frequency. So be careful with the words that you use, because words are very powerful. In the beginning of the Bible, what is the first thing that it says? In the beginning, there was the Word. Okay? That's how everything began. The Word of our Father. And then the other days, well, they were created by the God of this world. which, you know, you guys could call it Lucifer, Jehovah, but he is in charge of the material. But anyways, I started off with MUDFLOOD, Tartaria. MUDFLOOD, it was a cover-up. When they reset history, they had to cover up everything pretty much, and since they couldn't bring down the Tartarian buildings, it cost too much, and it was very well built that they couldn't bring down the Tartarian buildings, so they pretty much turned the Tartarian buildings into historical buildings. Like, for example, you have a courthouse. The courthouse, Tartarian. The library, Tartarian. The jail, Tartarian. Everything down 4th Street, Tartarian. Those buildings could not be brought down that easy, you know, and it was going to cost money, but they're still bringing them down little by little. So that's why a lot of buildings around the world are similar. And I'm talking about the architectural, they used to call it Roman. The Roman architectural, well, it was not Roman, it was Tartarian. The Tartarians, they built the Great Wall of China. The Tartarians had a multicultural, you know, they were a multicultural race. So they were in Russia. Right now, Tartaria pretty much got brought down to like the size of to Kazakhstan. So if you look up Kazakhstan, that's like what's left of the Roman Empire. I mean, of the Tartarian Empire, excuse me. And you could find all this evidence in your ancient maps. So if you Google it or get on YouTube, look up the old maps, starting from like 1400s and farther back. You see Tartaria be this big country, and like I said, they control 80% of the world. And from the 1400s to like 1852, that's how long it took them to erase Tartaria. And the Tartarians included, you know, the stories of Atlantis come from that. The pyramids also. So any great architectural, like the castles, the cathedrals, all that beautiful artwork that we cannot replicate right now, was Tartarian. With the MUDFLOOD was used to cover up everything that they did. Or when I say they, I'm speaking about the elite, the ones that took over. The elite used the MUDFLOOD to bury a lot of buildings. So if you look at a Tartarian building and you see the windows in the bottom, that means that was either the 2nd floor or the 3rd floor. It depends, because some buildings were buried, you know, 30 feet. If you go, let's say, to the Sahara Desert, you see these big old sand dunes, right? Well, underneath those sand dunes, there's buildings. Okay, and you'll be able to tell that it's been buried because it'll either have a basement or it'll be elevated with stairs to take you to the 2nd floor, which they call it the 1st floor now. And this is everywhere around the world. Another thing, you know, the MUDFLOOD was covered pretty much to hide all the scandalous shit, all the scandalous things that they did to the Indians. The buffalo that they killed, pretty much got buried. Everything got buried. Okay, so those are the first 2 chapters, MUDFLOOD, and I'm gonna keep it short, you know, because I got more to go. And then the other thing that I was talking about are the giant trees, the mountains, the tree trunks, titans. All of this comes together. You know, if you read the Bible, well, you hear about the Noah and the flood. Well, that flood was what buried the Titans. They were miles high. In the Bible, it says they were 3,000 ells. So 3,000 ells is 2.1 miles. So imagine a human or a being that big. We cannot imagine. And the more research we're coming across, it all started with flat earth, by the way. Thank the flat earthers for getting this topic going. But the mountains are tree trunks and titans. So whenever you go to an outdoors place with mountains, just pay attention to the mountains, and you're gonna see that either they're gonna be the tree trunks because they're gonna look like a tree, and they're gonna be pretty much made out of silica because this was from a silica era. And you also see the titans, so you'll be able to notice the titans because of the rock formation, and you could tell the different layers, you know. And this has been scientifically proven. If you look up Mud Fossil University, he will get you details to the T. That's where I got my information from, and it makes a lot of sense. MUDFLOOD University, that guy, genius. But yeah, if you pick up rocks, you'll be able to tell if it's a lung, a kidney, finger, or a toe. But yeah, pay attention to that. Titans, you know, titans, they pretty much came from the fallen angels. You know, the fallen angels came to reproduce with our women because they fell in love with them. You know, our women are beautiful, so when they came to earth and reproduced with their women, their seed became titans, or mythical stories that we hear of, like Hercules, and you know, anything that you see in Disney, pretty much I'd say is 70-80% true. Fairy tales are not fiction, and there's no way that they could be fiction. Those stories cannot live for hundreds of years, you know, and still catch our attention. There's fairies, there's titans, there's elves, there's still Homo habilis, which you guys call the Sasquatch. And speaking about that subject, you know, the fossils that they've been finding that have the thick skull, and they call it the Homo erectus. Well, the Homo erectus is not a different species. It's actually the Homo sapien species. But back then, we live longer. So when you live longer, your cranium will start growing, your bones don't stop growing. So imagine if you are 400 years old, 500, 800 years old, imagine how your bone structure is gonna be. That's why we were saying that it was a different species, but it's not. They are us, but they live longer, so that's why they're built like that. You know, if you guys want to think you guys evolved from monkeys, I'm not gonna say you guys evolved, but a little bit of monkey was used to create us, and that comes from the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnakis, the gods that came from above. The Anunnakis were what created us and gave us this speed, you know. We accelerated by millions of years. You know, this is how we get all of our ideas, like religion, the birth of Jesus. Everything is based on the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki story. So if you guys are interested in Anunnaki, I will be doing another episode of Anunnakis, okay, because that is a very interesting subject. I'll give you a little detail, a little brief summary of what I've read so far about the Anunnaki, and that would be that we were created by them as a slave race, pretty much to mine the gold for them. So you got Enki, Enlil, God and the devil, pretty much, but they're just gods. And they came to an agreement that they were gonna create us, and they didn't just create us like that. Like, it took them a long time, many trials and tribulations, because I guess the first time when they barely made us, like, we couldn't, when they started creating us and mess with our gene pool, either you couldn't be born because you weren't doing it correctly, you either got like a male from the earth and a female from, you know, from the stars above us. So they figured out that that was not gonna work, so they had to use a female Anunnaki and a male sperm, you know, to mess with it and create what they created. You know, they helped us stand upright, you know, so they gave us our voice, because the chimpanzees or the apes, they can't make sounds like us, because they could chew, breathe, all of this is connected, in other words, so they can't break down the words like A, B, C, D. So what they did was they got that one wrong, then they figured out what was wrong with it, fixed that, and then it had another problem. Either it wasn't eating, or it came out with too many arms, but that's how they started doing it, you know. And they used to leave them in cages, and right there in the Sumerian tablets it says that they scream like wild animal. So it took a few tries until they finally came up with the Adam. They called it the Adam, you know, the Adam, Adam. And that's the Sumerian tablets on how the human was created. And obviously that same story was created by these other religions, whether it's talking about Horus, Seth, Jesus, Ishtar, excuse me. All of these come back based on the Sumerian tablets, because if you read the Anunnaki stories, they're pretty much giving you a parallel of their ideas, their beliefs, what happened. So we're copying them. We are copying the Tartarians, and we're not doing a good job at all. Back then, people were more spiritual. When you talk to God, you actually had to get naked. You couldn't have sex with your woman. Before you talk to God, you had to jack off. And when you're praying, you know, once you give life to, once your sperm lands on the dirt, that's when you can start talking to God and asking him, because you gave him something that you could create with. So back then you used to appreciate the conversation with God, whether you're talking to yourself or you believe that there's an invisible man up there, you know, just telling us what to do. Actually, you're not far from the truth, because that's how it really is. But we do got a free will. All right. And this is just part one of the briefing. I already looked at the time, and it's about to be 20. I don't want to bore you guys out of your mind, but stay tuned. I will let you know more next week. Okay? I appreciate your support. Let the universe bless you. And if they try to destroy you, smite thee. I got that from the Satanic Bible. I don't give my other cheek like Jesus. We're revolutionaries. We gotta get out of this matrix, one way or the other. Don't believe in the coronavirus. Yeah, something's going on, but you could heal yourself. Trust me, you could heal yourself. Be surrounded by love, eat healthy, drink water. You'll be good. That's all I gotta say. So take care and let the universe bless you. I'm not trying to make you believe anything, but I will open up your mind. There's still a lot more coming. There's still space and water, orphan trains, the reset of history, the other continents beyond Antarctica. I got a lot more stuff coming for you guys. A lot. Forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge. I do this shit for you guys.